everyone, welcome to my first video on this channel, Baking and Buttercream. Today we'll be making the Baking and Buttercream logo. So let's take a break and bake. I just want to say a quick thank you for watching my first video on this channel. It really means a lot. I'm really going to be baking a whole bunch of dessert for you guys. And so just keep watching, and today, enjoy the chocolate cupcake recipe. And now let's bake those chocolate cupcakes. The first step to baking these cupcakes is preheating the oven to 350 and lining the cupcake tray with your cupcake liners. The ingredients that you're going to need are 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup natural cocoa powder, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs at room temperature, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of packed light brown sugar, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and the last ingredient for the cupcakes is 1/2 cup of buttermilk. For decoration you need 4 cups of powdered sugar, 1/2 cup of room temperature butter, which is 1 stick, 1/2 cup of shortening, 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Finally, to make it look like the Baking and Buttercream logo, royal blue and black gel food coloring. Now that we put the liners in the cupcake tray and preheated our oven to 350, let's start baking. The first step you're going to do is grab your flour, cocoa powder, baking soda, and salt. We'll be now mixing these all together until thoroughly combined. You know when it's thoroughly combined when there's no white specks at all and it's one even color. Now we're going to set this off to the side. Now we're going to mix our wet ingredients, and then after that we'll mix them into our dry. Now we're going to put the sugars, the vanilla, vegetable oil, and 2 eggs. Time to mix it up. Once you have thoroughly combined all of these ingredients, it should look just like this. Now we'll be combining our wet ingredients with the dry ingredients to make the wonderful cupcake batter. And don't forget to scrape those sides down. We'll now also add our buttermilk. With all the ingredients in this large bowl, let's mix it up. Our batter's looking good, but we're now we're going to scrape the sides. With the sides scraped, let's mix it one last time. Now we're all done mixing, and this is what your batter should look like when you're all done. Now we're going to fill these cupcake liners about halfway full so that they don't overflow in the oven. Also, by the way, I am using this little cookie scoop to help make sure I have as even cupcakes as possible. Let's scoop that batter into those liners. Alright, so we have now filled all of our cupcake liners, but if you notice one thing, there's a little bit of drippage from the cupcake batter. So we need to clean that up before we put it in the oven. Alright, so the cupcake liners are filled, the tray is completely clean. Now we're going to put put these cupcakes into the oven and bake them for about 18 to 21 minutes. Our cupcakes are all done baking, and now we're going to let them cool for a little bit. But while they're cooling, we're going to go ahead and make the vanilla buttercream. Alright, so the first step to making your vanilla buttercream is creaming together your shortening and butter. Now it's time to mix the butter together and the shortening now that it's in the bowl. When you're all done mixing, you really want to make sure that your butter and shortening is evenly combined. Alright, so now that that's creamed together, we'll add in half of our powdered sugar. Now let's mix that together. Okay, so your mixture will still be a little lumpy just because there hasn't been no liquids added into it yet. There still might be some powdered sugar on the sides, but when we add in some of the milk and some of the vanilla, just try to get it on the side so we can kind of wash it down in the bowl. Alright, so we're going to add in about half of our milk and all of the vanilla. Now that that's in there, we get to mix it again. Now your frosty mixture should start looking more like vanilla buttercream, but it should look a little rich due to all the milk and vanilla that you just added. So we're going to add in the rest of this powdered sugar. Alright, so as you can see, it's once again kind of thick, but not as thick as before we added the milk and vanilla. So with that extra milk, we're going to be adding some of it just a little bit at a time until we get that perfect consistency. Okay, so I feel like I got the perfect consistency for my vanilla buttercream, and this is what it should look like. This is what mine looks like. Yours might be a little different depending on how you want it to be. Alright, so now that we have our buttercream all complete, this comes the hard part, making it look like the buttercream in the logo. So the buttercream in the logo has 3 different colors: white, dark gray, and a royal blue. So what we're going to have to do is separate this buttercream into 2 main sections so that we can color it the dark gray and the light blue. But before we do that, we just need to scoop out a little bit of the white frosting just the way it is and keep that off to the side. Okay, so I have this small silicone piping bag, but I'm just going to put a little bit of this frosting, the buttercream the way it is, into this bag and keep it off to the side before I color the rest of it. Okay, so I'll fill this bag just a little bit, and it's really close to the end, but you don't want to push it all the way out because we're going to put it into this big silicone bag that came in the set later on with the other 2 colors. But so right now, we're going to separate these 2 and put one in this bowl and keep the other half in this bowl. Okay, so I separated these 2 about as evenly as I can, and so now I'm going to go ahead and add in the food coloring. Now, one thing to remember is you can always add more food coloring, but you can really never take away unless you have extra white buttercream frosting. So now it's time to mix this up to get it to the right color as I want. Try to make it as close as the blue in the logo. Alright, so this is pretty close to the blue in the logo, but I'm just going to use a spoon and scrape down the bottom and down the sides, give it one last mix to make sure that it's all the same color. Time for the final mix of the royal blue buttercream frosting. Alright, so scrape down the whisks, and then you can go ahead and put this in a piping bag of your choice. I recommend if you're going to put it in a larger piping bag, make sure that it's smaller so that it doesn't take up all the room. So now we're going to add the black food coloring to the other half of the buttercream frosting. Right now we have the finished product of the dark grayish vanilla buttercream in this bowl, and now we're going to put it into another piping bag. Then we'll put all those piping bags into this large piping bag, and then we can start decorating our cupcakes. Alright, so now that we have our buttercream done, we're going to go ahead and pipe those onto our delicious cupcakes. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is leave a little bit of a border of normal chocolate cupcake, and then you're just going to pipe all around that. Now this one, sometimes it will take a moment for the other colors to kick in, but as soon as they do, it'll look beautiful. Look, on that side, some of the blue started coming in, and then later on, other colors will come in. I'm going to go ahead and finish these cupcakes, and I'll get back to you when I'm all done. These cupcakes turned out so amazing. They look so cool, especially that they look like the Baking and Buttercream logo. But the most important thing is, how do I like them? Those are amazing. The chocolate is so moist and it goes so well with this vanilla buttercream recipe. Now, this is a really great recipe. Totally try it. Thank you so much for watching my first video on baking and buttercream. I just have one simple request for you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Even share if you like to all your friends. Comment down below of what you really want this channel to be about. What do you want me to bake? Ideas that you have. I really want to read your comments and see what the community of baking and buttercream wants. Alright, have a good day.